Welcome to Fabulously Flawed, where the perfectly imperfect come to shine. Marni, along with her sensational sidekick Taylor, are the mother-daughter duo that puts the fun in dysfunction. Every episode, we unpack the chaos of mental health while sprinkling in the sass of pop culture. We're here to share stories, laughs, and lessons that remind you to embrace your quirks and to never, ever let anyone dull your sparkle. So join us as we celebrate the beauty of being fabulously flawed. Let's get real, let's get raw, and let's get ready to add a little extra shimmer to your day.
Hey guys, how are you doing, all of you fabulous people? I am your host, Marni, along with my sensational sidekick, Taylor.
Hello, I'm so excited to be doing this all over again.
No, people listen to us and they were saying, oh, you guys sound like you have a radio show and you guys have such sync. And
it really made my heart smile so much to hear all of the positive feedback about the episode. Oh my God, you have no idea, truly.
Well, thank you guys for joining us today.
Yes, thank you so much. Wish I could give each and every one of you a hug.
This episode is called NYC Therapy, Skyscrapers and Serotonin. Enough said, mic drop.
Yeah.
Okay, we're out.
All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the episode. Yeah.
No, you don't understand. Since I can remember being 10 years old, New York has just been this invigoration thing for me. And I don't celebrate my birthday, but every year for, the past 20 years or so.
That's the only way you want to celebrate is being in New York.
Well, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. And I just want to give like a visual. When I was 15 years old, and I've spoken about this many times, I was in high school and it was the day of winter break. It was the last day of school before winter break and I was in high school and I went up the stairs and there were all these papers everywhere, hundreds. It's like if you know color war broke out or protest papers, whatever. And I'm reading it and it said 161 ways to describe Marni M. Took me a second to realize like that's me. And the planned trip I already had to New York saved my friggin' soul. So New York for me is therapy.
Right. It became kind of this memory of like this escape from this traumatic experience.
Yes.
And then it became just like your safe, happy hub type of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And people in New York, you're anything. You could walk down the street at 7 a.m. in a wedding gown or
in a chicken costume or you know, dressed as Superman and nobody would look at you twice.
There's such diversity and happiness there that when, of course, when you were born, I'm surprised I didn't name you Carrie Bradshaw.
I know.
Goldman. But
honestly, I could change my name now. It's never too late.
I know. If we ever get another like pet, as much as I want it to be Olivia Benson, I'm backtracking now and saying we're going to name it Carrie Bradshaw.
Right. Yeah. We just need to have one in there, one Carrie thrown in the mix.
You know, New York is this, like, it's this cultural melting pot.
Yeah.
Where everybody just comes together and it's
the energy in New York is unlike anything I've ever felt. And I'm not here to say I've been to, you know, every single place in the world, but so far in my 24 years of traveling and, you know, I've seen a decent amount of places. New York, nothing compares at all.
Wait,
I mean,
I won't leave my house for 7 months. But if I go to New York, I am never in the hotel.
Yeah.
Like I can walk 80,000 miles.
Right. Literally, we just keep walking and walking like Forrest Gump. We just keep going and going.
I'm surprised I haven't walked to Jersey. Like I
know.
don't stop, and it gets me out of these depressions. And we have spent.
It truly does. We have spent. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. No, like we've rented like months, like 1 month at a time, and then another month throughout the years. Well, the past few years, just to get that escape. Not that we don't love Miami. We love Miami, but I come to life in New York.
Same. And ever since you kind of started spending your birthdays there, I realized there's no other place I'd want to go into my next year of life other than New York. So that is my thing now. And my kind of new tradition is to spend my birthday in New York every year just because it is the one place that makes me truly happy. I don't need to be doing anything fancy, expensive, nothing of the sort. Literally just walking through the city of Manhattan. I mean, does it for me. It literally brings me such true, genuine joy and serotonin. And I am so thankful I grew up visiting so often and your love for New York kind of translated onto me. And it's just
Taylor,
It's the best.
Taylor in the City.
Yes.
It's crazy because when you see the iconic, maybe it's just looking at the Statue of Liberty, the Statue of Liberty or the Brooklyn Bridge, and it's just like these iconic symbols that represent ambition, freedom,
and it's
right?
yes,
Urban
and it's like,
beauty.
I normally am not like the huge fan of architecture or anything, but looking at New York City architecture and the skyline and those iconic landmarks, like I could stare at the Statue of Liberty all day, every day. And I've seen it many times before in textbooks and real life and throughout my whole life. And I could just never stop staring. So
there is something, I mean, I live in a very depressed, anxious kind of anxiety, depression, everything.
State of mind.
Yeah. New York state of mind.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even realize that.
But you know what? I get out of that state of mind when I'm in a New York state of mind.
There's just something special about it. And I love that it's like kind of a judge-free zone.
Yes.
Because like you go to LA and it's like full of fake judgy people.
Oh, no, I'm not a Lululemon girl anymore. I'm 53.
And it's just, you just kind of have to impress everyone. We're in New York. It's just that you do like feel the need to be cool, but like in the sense that it's like you don't need to be and people still think you're cool and awesome. I don't know if that made sense.
No,
but
of course.
Yeah.
The one thing that you were born into was musicals. You didn't have a chance. In
Broadway.
fact, in 2006, today, High School Musical came out for the first time.
Oh my gosh.
So I remember, again,
wow, I cannot believe it's been, 18 years? 2006?
Vanessa,
yeah, wow.
Troy and Gabrielle.
Yeah, Gabriella.
But see, Gabriella, but you were the Sharpay because you had just not the personality. You were not like her, but you were able to do the character of Sharpay.
Oh, yeah. I always wanted, how when you grew up and you were playing like these characters, a lot of people wanted to be Gabriella. No, I always had to be Sharpay.
Because it's so Legally Blonde.
Right. It's like so girly and pink, and that's kind of was my vibe. Is my vibe? Yeah, will always be my vibe.
Right. So you have been born into musicals and taking you to New York, and I think you were 7. The first musical I took you to in New York, not South Florida, where the traveling touring productions, but we saw Hairspray. And
best show. To this day, I still think it is one of my favorite Broadway shows, up there in the top 3.
When I hear that orchestra about to start, I get chills. Just when that orchestra
woke up.
before that.
Oh, okay.
Before that. Before the stage, the curtain opens, just the orchestra starting, the show is about to start, and the chills.
Yes, that feeling of about to be so happy for the next 2 hours.
And I forget all my worries. And because of my ADHD nature, I hyper focus and will see the same show over and over and over and over and over again.
Yes,
I've lost count.
Does that.
Rent and Wicked. Yeah, I've lost count.
Well, those are masterpieces. So I was actually just listening to the Rent soundtrack this morning, Light My Candle, and I was like, I forgot how much I loved this song, this music.
I just did the knock when you said Light My Candle. All my Rent heads will know that. Idina Menzel, I love you so much. You understand. Rent changed me, and then she comes back as Elphaba and changes me.
Yeah.
I took you to see Wicked the night after.
Yeah, so I kind of want
to
so my mom took me to see Hairspray, and then the following evening took me to see Wicked. Now, for all you Broadway people out there, those two shows are very different in the sense that Hairspray is this high energy, woohoo, and Wicked is definitely more of like you're kind of there for like the message, and obviously it has some of those iconic songs, but it's not like a whole big woohoo type of show.
Not. It's more dramatic.
So, and I was a young child. I was 7, so I don't know the meaning of no good deed goes unpunished. I had no idea.
You're going, I know.
Yes, I know. And I'm like, where's all the fun dancing and the colorful outfits? But anyway, so I fell asleep during Wicked, which I know is so criminal to say because it's such a fucking masterpiece, but I was way too young to actually appreciate it.
But here's the cool thing. Your personality, forgetting there was no bitchiness in you, but I remember your 4th grade with, what was her name?
It was Miss Dolan.
Miss Dolan.
Yes.
I had my class, my teacher-parent conference.
Yeah.
And she said, I was talking to Mr. Becker, the principal, and they said, you are exactly like Glinda, but not the bitchy part, just the sweetness.
Yes, and we've never forgotten that.
And I said, you don't understand. I am Elphaba. She changed me. I am different.
Right,
People
she has
shame
no
me.
idea who she said that comment to. Like, you are the biggest fan of Wicked. Yeah.
Biggest, because Elphaba, no matter what she did, I could cure a disease, and my family, my whatever, who I used to have as family, would say, well, that wasn't, you didn't do it quick enough, or are you sure it's going to work? So no matter what I did, I was against the 8 ball. So no good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah. So you resonate with her so much. And I think that's obviously why the show, because you connect with it so much and it changed your life.
My life. That Defying Gravity, right before intermission, that song and the words.
The tears, now that I've seen in my adult life, the tears that I cry when we hear that right before intermission is just...
people, even if you're in New York right now and you think you've done everything in New York, because we were talking about the architecture and just... For me, I would much rather study, most people would think I'm nuts, rather than going to Europe and looking at castles. I want to look at every building and know what happened in the 1800s and the 1920s. And then I was looking at a building the other day and it reminded me when we were there, like, Annie, it's a hard knock. And it reminded me of like the Depression era and the Fabulous and Broadway and Sardi's. And,
everything. And I also, just quickly jumping back into the Broadway thing, I love how theater is like, it's just such a community like feel, and it's like such a safe space, I think, for so many people. Like, I just love what Broadway does for the theater community. I mean, it just brings everyone together, and it's such a positive light in our very dark world. So I just wanted to say that.
Oh, well, I'll piggyback off that, going back to Hairspray.
Yeah.
Because after every show I see, even if it's a local production, that if they're at the Fort Lauderdale Performing Arts, I go backstage after every show because I am in awe of these triple threat performers who dance, sing, act. And I have to tell everyone after, oh my God, I don't care if you were in the chorus. I don't care if you were in, just if you were the lead. I love them so much. So after Hairspray, we go backstage, and Jerry Mathers, the Beaver, played, was
Tracy's
he the dad?
I
He
think
played
so,
the father. So I see Jerry Mathers, oh my God, leave it to Beaver Taylor. And she's like, what? She's 7.
I'm literally 7. She's speaking, foreign language.
So I get the Hairspray can and I throw her in, and you take a picture with Jerry Mathers, the Beaver. So and they all signed it and autographed, and I had to take a picture with all of them.
Yeah, you always go to the stage door. Always.
I'm so in awe of them.
Broadway performers are literally superheroes. The work that they put in,
not
each
music,
and every day.
well, theater in itself, not necessarily Broadway, but just theater people.
Theater people. Right. I guess my mind's on Broadway, and because these Broadway performers just have such an intense schedule. I mean, show after show after show, day after day. It's just, I don't know how they do it, and they execute these brilliant performances every single time.
What it does for us. Like, I not freak out, but I find it astonishing when the show is over. Like, we've waited months, we're just, our adrenaline, we leave there singing and dancing, and they just wash their face, put on their backpack, and
go to the train.
Home.
Yeah.
Like, you would never know that I just cried my eyes out singing along with you to the lullabies of Broadway or whatever it may be.
Exactly. When I saw Funny Girl, one of the characters, oh gosh, I'm totally forgetting his character name, but his name in real life is Jared Grimes. So talented. And he's in Manifest, the show on Netflix. That was actually airing at the same time that he was, on Funny Girl. And I went and I met him, and he was just the most down-to-earth, awesome, cool, extraordinary, talented person. And I just love that these performers give us the opportunity to go and, kind of talk to them for a second after they just put on this insane show.
They appreciate it. And I know Idina was in this show, I think it was called If Then.
Yes.
And I made a beeline, for the stage door, but she had security.
Right, of course.
Okay, now I'm going to go back to what we talked about last week, how I will go up to anyone, do anything. I saw Book of Mormon when it first came out. Josh Gad, who was the star, Olaf, loved Josh Gad. He, Book of Mormon was at the time, it was the friggin' show on Broadway.
Oh, yeah.
So, of course, I go backstage, and it happened to have been a rainy night, and I overslept, and I had, no makeup on. So, on my vanities, then I just forgot that.
Right. Thank gosh.
Yeah. So, I'm backstage, and I'm talking, making conversation. So, there's this girl, Danielle, and I said, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? She said, well, I grew up with Josh and I want to say hi, but I don't want to like be rude or anything. So I was like, excuse me, security. I go, what's your name? She goes, Danielle Johnson. I go, can you tell Josh Danielle Johnson from elementary school is here? So he goes back and I said to her, where'd you grow up? She goes, Hollywood, Florida. No shit.
Wait, literally where we live?
I'm in Hollywood, Florida. Now I'm adding up the years because I was a talent agent and a casting director. And I'm thinking, Josh is younger than me. Did he ever come in for a casting? Did I know him before this? Okay, so now the security comes back and he goes, Danielle Johnson. And we both go, here.
Yeah, I love that you did that. I love that you did that.
So I have no shame because if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
You would be like, no way.
Terrified.
So we go on the stage and he holds my umbrella, okay, and takes a picture. And I said, wait, I am standing on a Broadway stage. And I said, you are the sweetest thing. And I said, wait, did you have an agent growing up? Because I must have seen you. Somehow he goes, no, my mother wouldn't let me. And I was like, I love it. That is why you're so normal. You didn't have a pushy stage mom.
Yes, exactly. I am so happy for you that you got to go on a Broadway stage. Not many people do. No one ever does that unless you're, part of the production.
You want to talk about coming to life in New York? My energy is so infectious in New York. I was walking by, not through Times Square, just around, busy streets. And some guy came up to me and he goes, do you watch David Letterman? I'm like, yeah. And he said, do you know who Paul Schaefer is? Mm-hmm. Do you know what he does? Keyboard, And they said, well, I want you to come to the David Letterman Theater tonight, the Ed Sullivan Theater. And Daddy's looking at me like, okay. And I said, well, I'll show up because we have nothing else to do. And if they say go away, it is a scam. Okay. And
right. Might as well try, of course.
Now, mind you, people write to get tickets. Doesn't happen so easy. It's a lottery. Sometimes you get it. You're talking David friggin' Letterman.
Right.
Okay?
It's definitely not a guarantee.
So I show up and they pull me over to the side, like with this other two people. And I'm like, what's going on? Am I like, Ashton, are you here punking me? Like, what's going on? And they said, you're going to be the audience leader. Okay. Dr. Phil was the guest.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was the audience leader. So my energy, I come to life in New York.
They chose the perfect person.
No, I mean, I'll save the Fran Drescher one. Well, this is how I knew my emotions were not regulated. Okay.
That's one way to put it. Yes.
This taught me, this incident that I'm going to share with you taught me that even though we were talking last week that my level 1 situation and I give a level 100 reaction.
Right.
It goes in both ways, whether it's anger or excitement.
Yes. So there is a brighter side to it.
But the excitement gets a little bit too much.
Yeah.
So we were in New York, I think it was maybe 2010, 2011.
No, I want to say it was more like 2012, 13 when you met Fran, 14 era.
Oh, no. It was, I'm going to say 12,
Okay,
11.
sorry. This is a core memory of yours. I don't want to mess it up. Okay.
So I was leaving New York my last day and I said, oh my gosh, we have to go get Dylan's candy to bring back to Taylor. So I'm wearing a sweatshirt. I'm just messy, just, that kind of nobody's going to run into me who I know in New York.
Right, yeah.
So I told my husband I was going to go get a coffee, which is upstairs. And he was downstairs looking at all the candy. And you don't get the best signal there, for phones, just side note. So I'm waiting for my coffee and I see a man walk behind a wall. Now, nobody is a more die hard, I love you with all of my heart, Fran Drescher fan since she did Cadillac Man holding Chester, her dog. So I love her. I love her parents. I know Chester. And like today, it's sweater weather where we are.
Yeah.
Okay. So I see this man and I watched her parents on the Rosie O'Donnell show and they've made appearances. They lived in Sunrise where my Aunt Jeannie lived. So I go, Morty? And he's like, yeah. I go, oh my God, here goes the emotional regulation.
Yeah.
I go, oh my God, your friend Trish, out the door.
Yeah.
Your friend Trish, that I love her so much. I've worn the same Moschino outfits as her with the boots and I love her. And going on and on. He goes, looking at me like I must have 18 heads, but he goes, you want to meet her? What?
This man has no idea what he just did.
No. Now, I wasn't going to New York to meet her to do anything.
Yeah.
I look homeless. Okay.
Yeah.
And he goes, she's right there in the cupcake room doing a book signing. Oh my God. So now I'm texting her, probably calling my husband ferociously. He's not answering. I'm like, screw him. Whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So I walk in and she's doing a book signing with her mom, Sylvia. Mm-hmm. I start crying hysterically, basically in her bosom. Fran Drescher, I love you so much. You don't understand. I dress like you. Your outfits. We had the same Ralph Lauren bedspread. I had the same bathrooms. You are everything. And Chesta and Peter and you. And oh my God. So then Sylvia says to me, Mamala, do you need an aspirin? She called me Mamala.
No, the fact that that happened to you, it was fate, because I mean, it was just the universe giving you a blessing because you blessed the world. So he's like, let me, or she, God is a woman, was like, let me.
Her name's Sparkle.
Yeah, her name is was like, let me do something for this woman. Whoever made that happen made your life.
But I guess in a good way, the emotional lack of regulation that I had, she'll always remember me from the cupcake room.
Oh yeah, the crazy lady from the cupcake room.
So there's always something good comes out of everything.
Yes.
So we were just in New York, and even if you live in New York, there is a museum called the History of New York Museum.
No, it was the Rise Museum.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah, Rise NYC.
Okay. Now, I had no idea what to expect. I just love anything New York.
Yeah, we are just anything, absolutely anything in the world, New York
Side
related.
note,
we love.
Right. And side note, I'm turning 54. So, of course, it's my Studio 54th birthday. Some of you will get it. Some of you will not.
And I'm one who doesn't. I mean, I know what you mean, but I haven't seen It's a Movie, right?
No, it was it was the most iconic club, Studio 54.
Right,
yes.
Right.
But
the
I'm just,
balls,
the disco ball is me breaking, coming in. I always said I'm like a big Studio 54 disco ball.
Yes. Okay.
So, where was I going with this?
Oh, the Rise New York Museum.
Oh, right. So we're at this museum, and you're learning all the different exhibits, about the architecture, fashion,
music, television.
Wait, I'm not there yet. To the room I almost fainted
Right.
in.
Okay, yeah.
So it's fascinating to see the way the subway was built, and it gives you like this interactive feel a little bit. So wait, before the ride. Okay, Soarin' and Epcot. Most of you have been on that ride, so keep that in your mind, but I'm going to backtrack a second. For some strange reason, I play my daughter shows from the 70s that Norman Lear created, and, she watches with me, not really watching, but I have played for her The Jeffersons. We have watched it.
We have.
I showed her All in the Family, then explained the spin-off with the Jeffersons and how moving on up and to the side and the song.
I love it.
And then I tell her that, oh my God, Lenny Kravitz's mom was, in the show and, moving on up and the whole song. Okay. So we walk into this room now in New York. Part of the tour is television. So the first thing I saw was the Honeymooners set, which was before my time even. But then all of a sudden I hear the Jeffersons playing in the background. Fish don't burn. Just the whole song moving on up. And I am like now reading this whole thing because it was based on, an African-American person who literally went from bottom to the Upper East Side.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So you love that show. So you see me, I'm freaking out, clapping along and everything. Then the next exhibit over is Toom Toom. Okay, now I hear my Law and Order.
Current obsession.
Oh my gosh, talk about hyperfixation. Now I will only watch Law and Order.
Yes.
So it goes, remember I went through my Monk phase and my Grey's Anatomy phase.
Yes. I go through phases too, but you do really truly fixate.
Yeah, I fix it. I will watch nothing else. And part of my anxiety tells me you watch the same shows repetitively because it gives you comfort.
Yes.
The anxiety of the unknown, I don't like. I don't even like season ones of most shows because you're not there with the character
right. You're not too
development
familiar
yet.
with the plot. Exactly.
Modern Family is the only show from episode 1, season 1 that I was obsessed with. And Sex in the City.
Yeah. But no, I totally get what you're saying. And you were just, I know you walked into this room and you were just hit with this like wave of pure bliss.
Oh, we're not there. We're not done yet.
Oh, okay, right. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Right. So then all of a sudden I hear, do. Okay, what? Carrie Bradshaw, her dress is on display, the tutu. Oh my gosh. So now it's the Jeffersons, Sex in the City, Law and Order. Wait, there was another one. Why am I missing it?
There was Friends. Yeah, the whole Friends couch
now situation. Okay.
Yeah.
So I am now, my body, it was literally like a little girl looking at the Cinderella castle and meeting Cinderella.
Yeah.
Is how I felt in this room of iconic New York, everything. Oh, and then I sat at the the original Tonight Show desk.
Yes, on your little photo shoot.
No, but it didn't look great because here's my vanity again. I looked bloated. I thought you're wearing such bulky friggin' clothes in the cold.
But you're so critical of yourself.
Horrible.
You have no idea how beautiful you are.
The worst, I know. My body dysmorphia is so bad.
Oh, I am no stranger to that. That's a whole other episode, guys. Definitely. I really want to talk about that topic soon because I know so many people suffer with it. So almost every single one of my friends. So it's like I definitely want to shed some light on that.
You know what? This is what sucks, that I have spent my whole life going, oh, look at that little piece of skin. Look, I look too bloated. Or look at this. Instead of looking at the positive things, look at your beautiful eyes. Look at your beautiful smile.
Yeah.
But all those years of nitpicking and not enjoying, now I wake up at 53, almost 54. It's like, wait, I would give anything to be 35 again.
You actually have just recently kind of started saying, when I would like criticize myself, like, oh, I don't like the way this looks or this looks. You're like, start looking at all the things you do love about yourself. And I love that you said that to me, because now I'm like, you're right. Like, instead of like, criticizing my body, let me look at how much I love the parts of it and whatever. So.
Look at those legs that are from here to up north. I mean, so look at all of your fabulous things. And that's
of course. And I want all of you to do the same.
It's so hard for me at this age because I have been so critical of myself since I'm born. I mean, I don't remember never saying, I hate my hair. I don't remember ever just saying, wow. Yeah, just nothing about me. I remember going to Zumba and Monday mornings we'd get there and like, oh, you look so cute. And I'm like, oh, I'm so bloated. Like, what the fuck?
I know. It's just like, just say thank you and move on. Right.
That's part of my not knowing how to take a compliment.
Easier said than done, of course.
So now I'm going to go back to the New York thing.
Oh, right. Yes.
So now if anybody has ever been on the ride Soarin' at Epcot, you get to do this now with a New York experience. I don't think it made me cry.
Oh, yeah. Sat there with tears in my eyes and chills all over my body. We're just such suckers for New York. So it was like, obviously it made us feel so many things, but it was just.
You're sitting on this ride or this virtual and you feel like you are, they tell you if you have like sickness or motion sickness, don't go on it, but you're flying through New York and you feel the snow, the cold, the rain, the subway smell. Then we hear, you could take it from here.
Yeah. Then we start hearing Taylor Swift's Welcome to New York. And I can't even, there are no words to describe the emotions that I felt in those like 10 seconds where I'm like, holy shit, like I'm living my best life right now.
It was the day of and it was your birthday.
Yes, it was my 24th birthday. And I was like, there is no more perfect way to spend it than I am right now, going through this like virtual kind of tour of New York and Taylor Swift blasting, like, and it just like they really made you feel like something special about New York. And I give them so much credit because that ride, if they wanted that ride to make people feel like
you were there
for New York, I did feel the for New York.
It was so, because I looked over at you for a second and like they blew wind and your eyes were, you were just in that moment.
I literally was like in a whole other reality.
And it was like Jenna Rank, going 13, like you're shaking her dream box or the little dollhouse.
Yeah.
And you were just in that moment of this is just pure magic.
It really was. And you found the museum and I am so happy you did because I just like wanted to be happy on my birthday. I didn't really care what I did. I just wanted to feel happiness, and that gave me nothing but pure joy. So thank you.
Oh, of course. I just, for so many reasons, like Thanksgiving, I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, it's just always so womp womp for me. I just hate Thanksgiving because of trauma that happened when I was younger. It's a whole crazy story.
Right, a whole other episode.
So I started making new traditions with my family, and we go away for Thanksgiving every year. And what was it, 5 years ago when we went to New York and you went
2018. So 5 years ago this Thanksgiving. So like it will be 6.
Now, mind you guys, I never left my house. I was in such a friggin' depression, but it's like, let's go to New York. Go to New York. You made your way to the parade, Diana Ross.
Oh, yes.
Right?
I actually, Thanksgiving 2018, I fought through the crowds, made some parents mad because I hit some kids accidentally, but I made it to the
Those kids are still traumatized.
No, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. I made it to like the front row of like my little gate section, and it happened to be right when Diana Ross
Wow.
Queen Diana Ross in this fabulous big white outfit I remember on this float. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm like 20 feet away from Diana Ross. It was pretty cool. For free.
If you know that intro to I'm Coming Out with the drums.
I always said you wanted that for like.
My intro for anywhere.
Right. I want that
Anywhere.
for like, I don't know, I'm already thinking of like my 25th, my 30th, my 35th, all these like birthdays. I want to come out to Diana Ross's song.
Even if I just walk into like the house one night, I just want to do it as like my entrance song. You know what? I saw her when I was 14 years old in Atlantic City. Which is awesome, by the way, at 14 to see Diana Ross in Atlantic City. Okay. I'm back up my glamorous life at 14. As Fergie would say, GLAM, because there was a way for me to make a video. I was at a dinner party with her. My mother, who's so glamorous, Steve Wynn, had a dinner party for Diana Ross, who was performing that night. So when I say I saw her, it wasn't like concert seats. The stage was a runway and we sat on the banquette, which is like a round booth.
Yes.
So this is me at 14. I saw Cher at 10 in Vegas.
Which is absolutely epic.
So I grew up with music and lighting and fabulous.
Yes, which I'm so glad you integrated into my life, because I will be integrating that into my children's life.
Hello, that's why we're called
Fabulously Flawed.
So when I saw Diana Ross, and I'll never forget to this day, they played that music of the, whatever, and before she came out and the chills, this is the second time I've mentioned that intro music. I must love like an entrance.
Me too. I love like that dramatic effect before, like, the build up, something fabulous is about to happen. And it's like they the way they built it up and all these like orchestras.
I'll talk about my mental health and what New York did to me. 2019 was, oh my gosh, one of
a pretty
rough years. I didn't leave my couch. I didn't leave my bathroom floor from crying. But Kathy Griffin was going on tour to Carnegie Hall. There was no way I wasn't going to see my girl, Kathy, during my PTSD and depression and everything I was going through. So I was one of the 5 straight girls there. She's like, I remember her going, any straight people?
The token straight.
That was me. I'm here, wait, and Daddy was with me, which we were going through hell together, but we went to New York because then we ended up staying like a month there. Remember that you were in college. That your first summer in college. Okay. So I see Kathy Griffin and oh my gosh, I peed. Yeah. I peed from her. So I didn't leave my house, but to go to New York got me out of that funk. And I saw my girl, Kathy, who now is on her PTSD tour.
I know. It's like just so
full circle.
Tailor-made, no pun intended.
Oh, tailor-made, no pun intended, full circle, like Olivia Benson's cat named Karma.
Yes, how they made that little connection too when Taylor commented, full circle moment. But yeah, what New York does for our mental health, me too. The second I get there, it's like I could have a million things on my mind in Florida, and the second like I touch down in Queens, I'm like, okay, I feel like a queen. Like I'm so happy. It's just like a genuine joy. Like, and even if I was in New York with like kind of like, I know it's like a vacation mindset, but even when I was living there for 2 months, like it was just like the way of life made me so genuinely happy. I was like stressed out the freaking door because I don't know what stress is here. It's just magic.
Carrie Bradshaw said, the city is my boyfriend, my love. And
if I could like marry New York City, I would marry New York City, like Mr. and Mrs. Manhattan.
Well, the funniest thing is like, people go to Paris and you see the Mona Lisa and you look at artwork exhibits and castles. I went right to the brownstone on Bleecker. Wait, is it on Bleecker?
There's brownstones on...
No, the Carrie Bradshaw one I'm talking about.
Yes, it's on Bleecker Street.
Is it on Bleecker? Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't leave. I just stared at it like I was staring at the Mona Lisa.
Yes, that is our Mona Lisa. Yes,
I took pictures.
Bleecker
posing.
Street is our Louvre.
Basically. Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And we just got back from New York and it's like, okay, why are we not living there? Because if I'm going to live there, I'm going to live there comfortably and not like, everything's so expensive.
I know.
But we were there and it's like, I brought my microphones. I'm like, we have to do street reporting, but I wanted to enjoy.
Exactly. It's like I got so lost in just like the pure bliss mode that I'm like, oh, wait, work exists? Right. But no, it was a fabulous vacation. I was there for New Year's. It was a fabulous start to 2024, to my 24th birthday, which is a few days later. So it was one of the best trips ever.
It's interesting because here in South Florida, Miami, I don't move a lot.
Yeah.
But if I could go to New York and dance walk with Ben Aaron, who is married to Ginger Z from Good Morning America. He is the funniest reporter. And he, 10, 11 years ago, walked with some masked unknown man down Fifth Avenue to Shake Your Groove thing. And I have wanted to dance walk ever since, because dancing and walking and laughing,
all of your favorite things.
My favorite things you can't, and it's the best therapy in the world.
It is. No, for sure. You just kind of like let loose and dance like no one's watching.
Oh, wait a second. I do want to talk to Ben Aaron because Kelly Pickler, they had a talk show together.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband died of suicide a year ago.
How heartbreaking. I mean, every time I hear of a suicide, it's rough.
It's
so sad.
6 degrees of mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has something. Some people a little bit to the extreme. Some people not so much. A lot of people, I think, are walking around unaware that they have so many triggers.
Definitely. Oh, beyond. There are so many people out there who don't recognize their own symptoms.
And when you're aware of it, life becomes easy. Even if I said to you, okay,
right,
I cannot wear 5 layers. I am losing it. I am itching like crazy.
Sensory overload.
So I know if I'm going to be somewhere where I need to wear wool, itchy friggin' stuff, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So I just make my life, because thank God I'm aware. I don't care if there's a bazillion triggers. I don't do them anymore.
No, awareness is key. It's helped you so much. It's helped you improve your life. I mean, the quality of your life has improved ever since you became aware of all of your triggers and this and that. So
yeah, but my vanity got the best of me in New York because I didn't want to pose for any pictures because I looked like the Michelin Man.
She thought she looked like the Michelin Man.
Well, your clothes are bulky. The coats are bulky.
No, I know.
Like,
you didn't feel like your most fabulous self, which I get.
Like in Miami, you just wear something, walk out the door.
Right.
But either way, we are going to, here's my other New York thing. Come on. You don't know what I'm going to say, so I feel like I'm having this conversation in my head.
Yeah.
WFAN. If anybody's listening to this, girls, ask your boyfriends, husbands, fathers. If you're in New York, you know what it is. It is the largest sports radio network in New York, WFAN.
Okay.
Hugest. So last summer, I did an interview with Bob Salter. Bob Salter had been with the station since 1994, interviewing thousands of people, athletes, and just so many people. And I did an interview with him and I was like, wow, this was such a cool interview. It was like, you were like my friend. He goes, well, I just like to converse. That's how I do my interviews. So he retired and he played my interview as his last one ever.
Like you're just that special. And I'm so glad that he saw that.
Right?
Yeah.
But it was in New York.
Yes.
So I was singing in my head, if you can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. So I put my toe there.
Concrete jungle, where dreams are made of, baby.
Oh, I need to get on that Carnegie Hall stage with my power pony, my microphone, and tell young girls, don't you think to yourself, oh, is he going to like me? You have to wonder if you're going to like him. I want to empower these girls.
I know you have so much to say and I just
never
can't
want
wait
them to give up. And I just want them to love themselves. Like this Valentine's Day, self-love, girls.
Yes,
self-love.
This, right. For myself too. Like I need to start loving myself more so I could.
We're going to talk about that on our next episode, the Self-Love Club, because what the unhealed me, the generational trauma that I did not even think was an issue when I would look at my daughter when she would wear things. I would just, the way I would say it to her, and if she was eating something, the way I would say, what are you eating? Why are you eating that? And it was so unhealthy because I did not want to have a chubby teenager because I was chubby. Not cool.
I know. And
Not
that's
cool.
why we have this this podcast
to bring
awareness to all of the fucked up stuff in life.
Exactly. So we are going to end it on this because Hershey, my dog, is going to bark in 2 seconds and we don't want that. So I just want everybody to remember to never let anyone dull your sparkle.
Ever, no matter what.
Don't let anyone burst your bubble. Put yourself in your boundary peace bubble. And I am sending everybody so much love and peace. Until next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Fabulously Flawed. Remember, we drop new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday, so be sure to subscribe and never miss a moment of this dazzling duo. Craving more sparkle? Head over to fabulouslyflawed.com for exclusive content, episode archives, and more. And don't forget to check out Fabulously Flawed on Etsy for tons of amazing products that are sure to brighten your day. Be sure to follow us on socials to keep the conversation going and become a part of our Fabulously Flawed family. Until then, keep embracing your beautiful imperfections and remember, never let anyone dull your sparkle.